Hello everyone, welcome to another episode on Albeit. Today I'll be talking about the arrest of the alleged killers of Pop Smoke and of course the Jada Smith entanglement comments. Two different topics that have that have they are unique lessons. They are packed with unique lessons. I mean, how come we have a bunch of teenagers basically that are alleged to be the killers of Pop Smoke, and of course the ever mysterious world of marriage and relationships. I am Hassan, and this is Albeit. All right, so let's start with the Pop Smoke's alleged killers. Now, before anything, for those that don't know Pop Smoke, I mean, if you've heard Christian Dior, that's Pop Smoke. I mean, we all love his voice, his persona, his demeanor. We just like him. He represents that young, new kind of vibe, and people really like that. Now, so Pop Smoke's real name actually is Bashar Baraka Jackson. He was 20 years old, and he was a Brooklyn-born rapper. He was killed on the 19th. It was killed on the 19th of February, 2020, and he was killed in Hollywood, in California, in the apartment that he rented from Teddy Mellencamp and her husband Edwin Harrier. Teddy Mellencamp, for those that don't know, is a daughter. Actually, Teddy Mellencamp is a star in the Real Housewives of Beverly Hills, and she's also the daughter of John Mellencamp, a Hall of Famer in the music industry. Now, like I said, Pop Smoke is from Brooklyn, busted into the scene in 2018. His second mixtape, which is Meet the Who 2, debuted at number 7 in the Billboard 200 chart. You know, for the songs that he had those songs in that mixtape debuted at number 7 on Billboard 200 charts. Okay, album chart. And now his work now that he has right now, that's the shoot for the stars, aim for the moon. I keep calling something different. Yes, shoot for the stars, aim for the moon is top on the list right now for the on the Billboard 200 charts. All right, and the album was executive produced by 50 Cent, and he had collaborated with people like Nicki Minaj, Quavo, and the list goes on. So Pop Smoke was doing great. He was doing really, really good, and we are proud of, because for those of us that are in New York, and actually for the rest of the world, we love Pop Smoke. He was the pioneer of the Brooklyn drill, and also he was collaborating with the group in UK, the UK drill. Actually, 808 Mello was the producer of Dior and Welcome to the Party. Those are smashing songs that was actually played during the Me Too, during the Black Lives Matter protest. People played those songs several times. Now, I mean, I can keep going. I can go on and on about who Bashar Jackson was. That's Pop Smoke. We all like him. His voice, his music, I mean, he once said that what we have right here going on is going to be there for at least for the next decade. He said that there was a quote that said like something along those lines. So Pop Smoke was doing really good. Now, and he was making like every young boy. He's just 20 years old. It was he's very active on the social media. He likes to post pictures with a stack of money, and just shows the good life that he's living, and a lot of those things. So some people say that you love to cover for your cries, for your pains. So I see when artists show the display of cash, I think they're just trying to make up for their background of poverty, if you ask me, because we've all been there. We're from the community that we come from. You understand that when you make it like that, you have to celebrate it every day. Now, so let's talk about the alleged killers of Pop Smoke. Okay, so it's about 5 of them according to the LAPD. They've arrested 5 in connection to the murder of Pop Smoke. Two of these people are minors, that is, they are not even up to 18. So we have a 18-year-old. I'm not going to mention their names because I don't want to sort of promote them or on my platform or my podcast. I'm not going to mention their names. I'll just talk about what they. So we have a 19-year-old, we have an 18-year-old, and the 19 and the 18-year-old are arrested for the murder of Pop Smoke, while the 21-year-old was arrested for attempted murder of Pop Smoke. Now, these and the other two guys, two minors that will be tried or in the juvenile court. So that's what is going on with that, and the LAPD came up with this, and the whole thing was that young guys, the oldest among them is 21 years old, and so now we have that going on, and the next thing is that from according to the Captain Jonathan Tibet, who said that the alleged killers probably got hold of his whereabouts on a social media post that Pop Smoke had posted a day earlier before he was killed, where he posted an image of a gift bag that actually shows the address of where he was, and of course it's a stack of cash, and then there's that giver that shows that, and that's probably where they got the information from. That's where he was. So hence they went to take him out. And the way the thing was done actually made investigators to believe that it was not a robbery per se, even though things was missing in the house, but it was not a robbery because at the time that this thing happened around 4 a.m. in the morning, it was not just Pop Smoke that was in the house. He had other people in the house with him, and these guys did not steal anything like the typical robbery kind of scene would be ransacking of the place. They didn't ransack. They actually went to fish him out. I think it was somewhere in the house, that it was in a remote place in the house. They went to fish him out. Of all the people that was in the house, there was only one that was shot at, and they left. So it was more like a targeted killing. So that's that about the way it happened. So it's not like a robbery. It was more like they went to actually go after his life. That being said, now my thing about this whole thing is that we have a lot of things to work on in our society. All right. So according to the reports, according to my sources, the LAPD, the captain of LAPD, like I said, his name is Captain Jonathan Tibet. The LAPD confirmed that they sort of reach out to the East Coast counterpart as NYPD, and they were able to ascertain that, first of all, those five boys, they were part of the South LA gang. The police chief did not mention the name of the gang for whatever reason, and second of all is that the NYPD, the East Coast counterparts, provided information that sort of showed that Pop Smoke was actually probably was that was like a gangbang kind of stuff, and Pop Smoke himself, he had some gang affiliations himself, and he was at the time facing federal charges of transporting a stolen Rolls Royce across the state lines, and also there was a time he wore an ankle monitor because he had a weapons charge on him. So he had that, and I think he said that something like that in his song. That I remember when I came back from the correction. So he also had his own fair share with the law. He has been there. He's been going through that. So that's what the information that the LAPD was able to get from their East Coast counterparts. So it was affiliated with a gang. He was facing some charges on the grounds of stolen Rolls Royce across state lines, and he once had the ankle monitor because he had weapons charge. Now, but according to Captain Tibet, said that there was no indication at this point that the rival gang from the East Coast come to Los Angeles to target him. So they are saying that there's no enough information to back that up. Now, so we don't know that for sure right now, but what we do know is that Pop Smoke was affiliated with a gang in the East Coast, and these guys that killed him, they are a member of a South LA gang, and those guys also had a case before them, because they said that they were part of a group that committed a kind of a homicide in Pasadena in 2019 that essentially claimed the life of a young man. His name is Cameron Stone. He was 18. So there was a Pasadena Rose Bowl homicide in 2019 in LA that happened. It was a brawl, it was a fight, and this young man, Cameron Stone, was killed in that during that encounter. So those boys were linked to that homicide as well, and now they are facing this charge of killing Pop Smoke. And just to clear it, if they are found guilty, they are likely to either face death sentence or life imprisonment without parole. That's just what the law says. That's the maximum they can. That's the minimum they can get. Now, so what we all know, Pop Smoke. Like I said, Pop Smoke was the pioneer of the Brooklyn drill. He worked with 808 Mellow to create smashing hits Dior and Welcome to the Party. So we don't know what the future holds for this group that he pioneered. That's called the Brooklyn drill. We don't know yet. But this is my own take, because even according to, before I even go to this point, there's a critic. His name is Alfonso Pierre, right? Because his voice, his deep, gravely voice, is just his rugged style. It's just really it kind of draws everybody in. We just like the vibe that he provided. And this guy said, Alfonso Pierre is a critic, said that but there's a thing which is like my own major point in this whole thing I'm talking about today. We've had Nipsey Hussle, we've had Nipsey Hussle, we've had Triple Extension, we've had Tupac and Biggie Smalls, and the list goes on, of artists that were murdered at the peak of their careers, or when they had to come up. Now we have Pop Smoke. So I haven't given us this background of Pop Smoke's background, of his if you listen to his lyrics, you can see a lot of experience that he's had, this troubled experience of his growing days in Brooklyn, and all these things. You see, Tupac once said, "Before we find world peace, we gotta find peace to the war on the streets." We have people dying in almost every day in Chicago and other hotspots in the country. We are here talking about Black Lives Matter, and I say this all the time. Does Black life really matter to this political class? Because what have they done really to really sort of help the cause of Black Lives Matter? Because when we're talking about young men and women that are being yanked away from us in the hands of death, untimely death, and they are mostly done by black brothers and stuff. We have black on black crime going on. And it's not just black on black, we have the same thing going on in the Hispanic community. And we seem to be like, it's not our business. But when the police do something stupid, we're going to say defund the police, we're going to say all of those things, which is right. But I'm saying that we have a bigger problem. We have a bigger fish to fry in terms of dealing with our home communities. So, how come we have a young boy, 17, 16, 18, 19, 21-year-old kids, that are willing to go out there and take a man's life? I don't know what he has done in the past. I don't know what Pop Smoke has done, and I'm not trying to say anything. I'm just trying to say that whatever he has done, and whatever I'm trying to say that most of us, we are a product of our community. If the community kind of encourages us to commit crime, we commit crime. And that's the point right there. What kind of community are we creating for Black Americans, for Hispanic Americans, for the minorities in this country? And this country, this so-called America to be great again, will not be great if you do not actually address the issues that deals directly with the Black communities. The other day, I saw a young kid that was shot in the head by a drive-by shooter. We can have all these things going on in our communities, and then we talk about Black Lives Matter when our kids are dying before their parents' eyes like this. Like, this is not right. This cannot be normal. And people tend to be numb when it comes to gang banging activities, because they're gonna come for you if you snitch on them to do this. But it's not about you snitching. It's about we creating laws, creating an environment that actually look at these issues and deals with them frontally. If we want something for us, if we want this country to actually work for everybody, we have to, first of all, deal with the poverty in the Black communities. We have to create jobs, and not just building all these Section 8 houses or whatever. We have to create jobs. We have to create an opportunity for people to earn a decent living. We have to encourage a Black child to be well educated. We have to encourage that minority child, the Hispanic child, to be well educated. We have to support the family structure, the family union, where we don't, because, I mean, if a child grows up, I'll talk about August Asana in a minute, and your father is not doing well, your mom is not doing well, you are just left by yourself. You grow up troubled, and all you see is gangs, is all these things going on in your community. That's what you see. That's the life you know. How can we change the realities of the Black people in America to something that is really, really pro-American? I've driven to white neighborhoods. In the front of every house, you see them put the flag of America. If you go to the Black neighborhoods, you don't see that flag there. Rather, you see a Jamaican flag, a Pan-American flag, because America is not working for them. And we have all these political people. They say they gave us Obama, that was a novice in politics. Whose ambition was dead on arrival, if you ask me, because they provided him with all these sharks, all these piranhas, the Joe Bidens that was on the side. That would not make his government great. So you lied to us, gave us Obama that was not ready, or that was ready, but you gave him the tools that was not going to help him to be great. So what kind of America do we have right now for the common man? Are we going to keep losing our young talents? And why are our young talents even involved in gang activities in the first place? What is going on in this country that we call America? Until we find until we find the peace of the wars on the streets, we cannot find world peace, according to Tupac. Until we do this, America may never be great. Until America works for the Blacks, for the Hispanics, and we are able to replicate that success in that white neighborhoods, in those Black communities, America will not be great. And we cannot be comfortable with mediocre kind of progress. We can't be comfortable with that. So that's my point. How come we have these young kids and they are the killers of Pop Smoke? These kids are going to go and serve a lifetime in jail. Now, some of these older guys motivated them to go and perform this attack, because they know that if they went, they already have maybe some misdemeanor charges against them. So the law will be brutal on them. So their lawyer will not be able to fight it. So they send these young kids. So they are already grooming these kids from high school to become gangbangers. What kind of life is that? We saw Bobby Schmurder. He was supposed to be great, but he's still in jail. Because why? Because he was involved in gang activities. This that's going on our streets is real. And the political elites are not doing nothing about it. They're only paying lip services. They don't care if it's a gang activity, if it's gang banging. They said it's a black on black crime. So what? So it should look the other way. This country must work for blacks as it's working for whites. And until achieve that, America will not be great. As much as I love this country, we have a long way to go. And we have to educate our people to understand what the kind of situation this system has put them in. And our way to get out of it is to educate and is to eradicate poverty in our communities. And that will take me to my next topic, which is entanglement. Okay, so entanglement, really this will be quick because I don't know much about what's it called? Marriage. I'm not married yet. But I can tell you that from even dealing with my girlfriend, I know that this is a very, very interesting world. You know, today you cry, tomorrow you smile, you know, and all those things. But for instance, I want to talk about August Asina, who's, you know, like I said, is that and stepdad, according to him, they were crackheads. His mom kicked him out of the house when he was a teenager. His music was coming up, then he fell off the stage. And his mom died, I think, recently. So he had all these things going on. He was troubled. There was nobody to run. There was no one to actually go and meet. And you know, when you start losing your friends, and you come to say that, I'll pray I can make it past 24. 24 is just really, really young. So when you start losing friends, so the man went to the Smiths for healing, for stability. One led to the other. At the time, the Smiths were having some difficulty in their own marriage themselves. They decided they were going to be done and all those things. You see, the Smiths, as Jada Smith and Will Smith, they made a lot of money from that red table talk that they did, which was candid, which was really not easy, but they know what the end result would be, and they did the right thing. They put it out there and they laid it on the floor, but it was not easy for them to deal with that. But this is my thing. I was talking to a lady the other day. She's a little bit older. She's about that late 40s, early 50s, Jada Smith, and she was like, she's pro Jada, that if it was Will Smith, nobody would say nothing about it, that she's a young woman, she deserves to be loved and all those things. I get it. And I asked a question, just one question, like, do you think, from what you saw in that interview, that Will Smith and Jada Smith are not cheating on one another right now? I said, hell no. She believes that they are still cheating, or maybe having another spouse on the corner that they are seeing. And I said to myself that I believe that's the way they set up their relationship. And unfortunately, that August Asina got what's it called? Got caught up in that system, or in that kind of clogged relationship, you know. So it was just a tool at the time. But August Asina is a good guy. I like the fact that they didn't say anything evil of him during their red table talk. And all I'm gonna say is this: at the end of the day, marriage is it's personal, and whatever way that they think they can survive and they can coexist amicably, that works for them, works for them. So on that note, I respect what the Smiths are doing. I hope I wish them the best, but I would say that it's not in our place to say what they are doing is right or wrong. If it works for them, if that's how they figure they can do their thing, so be it. And that's my podcast for today. Again, the roundup is our community should be thoroughly taken care of and looked into, not paying lip services to like the politicians do, both Democrats and Republicans. And marriage as a thing is mysterious, it's very personal, and I respect what the Smiths are doing, and I wish August Asina very good luck in his life. And I just hope that we can all understand that marriage is not one size fits all. It's personal, it's individualized. And that's the podcast for today. Sam, thanks a lot for listening to Astropods. Please like, love, share, subscribe, comment, follow. Thanks again for listening. Bye for now.